Hi, everyone. I hope you're well, and I hope that you're having a beautiful day because it is a beautiful day. And it's a day that we can co create, it's a day that we can be together, it's a day that we can share hearts. Recently, we started this online community of like minded people. If you're listening to this or you're watching this, perhaps it's something that you're interested in, and you can just message me. And I'd be so happy to let you join us. And it's just kind of in a beta phase now. So things keep on popping up in this community. And a question came up today that I love to talk about with you. Somebody asked if they were less of a Jew because they're Reform. And the question was, to me, Rabbi, am I less of a Jew because I'm Reform, because I don't keep everything, because I wasn't raised religious? I've been asked this question so many times, and I think that a lot of rabbis that look like me, I get othered. I'll tell you, me with the kippah, with the beard, I get othered by so many people. I feel like I kind of don't belong anywhere because I spend a lot of time in places that are not with people that look like me, so to speak, and places that you wouldn't expect. So those people other me. And then there's other people who say, like, well, you're not like this, or you're not like this. And so getting a question like this brings up a lot. And every time I get this question, I feel that question so deep in my heart. Like, another version of this question is, Rabbi, what do you think about converts? Like, it's just this, I know what it is. I used to actually respond, I'm sorry for all the other rabbis that you've come in contact with. I'm sorry for all the other rabbis online. And I used to apologize for people's Jewish experiences. And I stopped doing that because I can only control myself. I can't control what other people say or do. And I feel this question so deeply, not because it's a bad question. Actually, it's an incredible question. I think because it reveals a wound that should have never existed. Somewhere along the line, someone convinced us that Judaism comes in levels, that there are more Jewish Jews and there are less Jewish Jews. And I can only speak for myself, but I don't think that's true. And I often wonder, when did we start defining ourselves by labels? When did we stop saying, I'm a Jew, and start saying, I'm this kind of Jew? Like, you won't find these categories anywhere in the Torah. Abraham didn't check Orthodox on a membership form. Moses wasn't conservative. King David wasn't Reform. Like, they were just Jews. They were real people. And I love that they're real people. Like, imperfect. They're passionate. They're searching human beings in a relationship with a higher power. They stumbled, they grew, they cried, they rejoiced, and we know all about it. And that, to me, it continues to blow my mind that we actually know this. We know this because God loved every part of them. And at some point, it was before I was born, so I can't tell you exactly when, somebody started mistaking labels for light. Somebody started building walls instead of bridges, movements instead of moments of connection. I want to live in a world with moments of connection. The Torah says these beautiful words in Hebrew, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Bazeh, that all Jews are responsible for one another. It's a Talmud. Obviously, I'm speaking because the person asked me a Jewish question. But of course, we can talk on a global level as well. But this particular question was asked from a Jewish perspective. So I'm giving the answer from a Jewish perspective. And I'm giving an answer to Jews. And I think about that line that all Jews are responsible for one another. And it doesn't say all Orthodox Jews. It doesn't say all observant Jews. I don't have to, I'm sure for some of you, your mind is going exactly where it's going. And whether it was in the past, let's say the Holocaust, or it was now, other people aren't dividing us into groups or labels, right? And it says all of us. So I'm trying to focus on a positive, not on the negative, because I know that it's human nature to go right to the negative and not to think of the positive. I'm talking about responsibility, that we're all responsible for one another. And obviously, I think about so often, every year I watch the March of the Living, march from to Auschwitz-Birkenau, and one of the speakers for, I don't know, I think since it began, and I can't wait, I think he is the greatest orator in the Jewish world today. He's the former chief rabbi of Israel, the youngest survivor of Buchenwald, Rabbi Israel Meir Lau. And if you haven't read his book, his story, his memoir, it's riveting. It's incredible. One of my favorite books. And every year he gets up at the March of the Living, and he says that I can try to, he's just such a great speaker. He says, my friends, the Jewish people, we are so good at dying together. It's about time we start living together. And that line, I've heard it so many times over the years, and it's become more and more true to me as the years go on. That part of our mission, in this world, in our lifetime, is for us to start living together. All of us, every single one of us. When our ancestors stood at Mount Sinai, the Torah says, Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Hahar. I'm saying it in Hebrew and I'll translate it to English. That Israel encamped there, opposite the mountain. And the super commentary Rashi points out that encamped in a singular, not in plural, because the people stood there. He says, Ki ish echad belev echad, as one person with one heart. That's what made us worthy of receiving the Torah. Not sameness, but oneness. There's a beautiful idea that each one of us, it's from the Tanya, that each one of us has a piece of God within us. Which means that our soul, that my soul, your soul, yes, your soul. It isn't a reformed soul. It isn't a conservative soul. It isn't an orthodox soul. It's a divine soul. It's an eternal soul. It's perfect in its source. Denominations, maybe they're tools for understanding. But the moment we use them to divide, I think we've forgotten what they were for. They were meant to serve us. They weren't meant to separate us. So here's my question. Here's what I'm asking myself today. And I think about this not only with regards to this question, but maybe you can relate to it with regards to other parts of your life, as I'm trying to with mine. Do I identify with the label someone put on me, or with the spark inside me that no label can contain? Like somewhere along the line, American Jews especially, the definition for not being a practicing Jew became Reform. Oh, you're Orthodox or you're Reform. And so Orthodox meant you, I guess, practiced the Torah and the mitzvot and you followed halacha, and reform meant that you didn't. I don't know if that necessarily is a label that defines many people today. And I'm not speaking, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say this one or that one or this is right or that is. I don't make choices for people. I just support the choices they make. But what I want to do is ask a question. Do I identify with the label someone put on me? Because deep down, beneath everything, I'm still standing at Sinai. I'm still part of the same conversation and still infinitely loved by my God. There's a beautiful idea King Solomon said, "Open for me an opening like the eye of a needle, and I will open for you gates wide enough for wagons to pass through." I love that idea. God doesn't say, show me your credentials. God says, show me your heart. Show me an honest moment. That's all it takes to be. That's all it takes to be present. And I think that a great challenge for us today may be alienation. I know people talk about assimilation, but maybe it's alienation. The bar is so high. I had a conversation. Somebody came to see me today. A few people had said that he should come see me. And he lives, right around the corner from our center. And he said he's been living here for years. And it's the first time I've ever met him. And I said, did you know that we existed? He said, of course I knew that you existed. He started going on and on about different things that he knew about us. And I was surprised. I said, did you ever think of coming in and saying hello? Oh, no. Like, the bar is so high. I can't imagine the feeling. And I know that there's no way for me to imagine it because I don't have it, but I know I have it in other places. Like that feeling of how high the bar is for people to engage Jewishly, to walk into a synagogue today on so many levels. I mean, there's the security level and but beyond that, let's say you get over the physical security level, just to be able to make that leap. Let's say you don't read Hebrew, or you don't know the prayers, or you don't know, or you feel like you don't know enough. Who wants to walk into a place where you feel like you're a kid again, like you don't know enough? Who wants to be in a situation where they feel small? Like, we try to find times and situations where we feel large, we feel seen, we feel wanted, and the bar is so high. Like, what am I going to do? Start learning Hebrew, and then I'm going to start studying Torah, and what if I've never done that before? And so I see, and I especially see in the past 2 years, so many people who want to connect. Judaism maybe wasn't that important for them before, and they were never challenged with their Judaism. And today, though, that's changed. That's really changed. And people want to connect today. But then where do I go? What do I do? The bar is so high. How do I even begin? And so it's nice. You start going to a podcast, or you start looking at things online, which I'm assuming a lot of us did. That's how we got here. And I think that if you think about that for yourself, and I think about that for myself on so many other levels, is just those moments of alienation. The moments where I feel like I don't belong. I feel like that a lot. I just don't belong. I don't know where I belong. I don't know what community I belong to. Here I am, I'm a Jew, but what does that mean? Because somehow I have to find a denomination. And that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for me, and it breaks my heart for so many others that I hold space for. Because we all belong, and we all need that feeling and that sense of being connected, especially today, especially now more than ever. And so, here are my thoughts. I don't think I am defined by a denomination or a movement I belong to. I'm defined by the movement of my heart towards something higher, connecting. I think that we need to be together. And so maybe it's time that we stop introducing ourselves by our denomination and start introducing ourselves by our light. Because when all the labels fall away, something incredible happens. We realize that we're just one people, and we're one heart, and there's one God. And that's beautiful. Thank you for spending this time with me. And it's an honor. It's an honor that so many of you, and the messages that I get, and the space that we can hold together, and the courses and the classes, like all of these beautiful spaces, I find so much meaning and purpose. And of course, so many of you send me these beautiful, beautiful comments and questions and beautiful reflections of how the podcast has changed your life. For so long, I got no comments. And maybe I think one time I must have mentioned that I was getting no comments, and now I've been getting so many emails, and it just makes me want to do more and want to be part of this beautiful, beautiful community. And so my blessing to you today is that we should not only know, but we should notice. And we should notice that we're really one, and that this world is really a beautiful place, and today is really a beautiful day. And I wish you a beautiful day and so many blessings. And keep the questions coming. And if you like this, let me know, and I will keep doing these recordings for you. Just my thoughts off the cuff. Okay, wonderful day, everyone.